The oldest and most popular story arc, story structure ever told throughout history has been the hero's journey. You think about Luke Skywalker from Star Wars, or Frodo Baggins in Lord of the Rings, Neo from The Matrix. It all follows a similar arc. Well, what I wanted to make a video about today is how trading is the same thing. It is the hero's journey. So it's not about markets, it's about the reflection of you. And I thought, what better way to talk about the hero's journey than to go on a journey myself today. I don't know, 3-4 hours out in the canyons here. So I'm gonna go find some cool spots to post up, and we're gonna talk more about how exactly this works. So all of these great stories, including your own in trading, they start the same way, right? And that is it's a call to adventure. And for you, that might look like that first time you realized you hated the way the current system is set up, the way it's designed to box you in or make you live a certain type of life. Maybe it was just from the first trade that a buddy of yours took you to take, and that was your first experience. Or maybe it was just some sort of whisper that you kind of felt and heard that told you there's a different way to live life. And it could show up as like possibility, as a form of leverage or a way to control something. And at first it seems simple, like clean, obvious. And you start thinking to yourself, I could do this, like I'm a smart person, I can outwork this, and I could do it faster than everybody else. You know, this is my chance to escape the rat race. It's a little bit of it's a shortcut opportunity. And then boom, you're hooked in for a long time. So there you find yourself early in the journey, and you are ready to cross the threshold, if you will. It's that first time that you put real money to work, real money at risk. So that idea that you had is just not an idea anymore. It's real, and the consequences start to become real. And here, trading, it stops being theoretical and starts to actually be emotional. So here it comes. The ego, the greed, the fear, all of it starts to swarm. It's the trials, the tribulations, the friends and the foes. These are all various phases that traders have to work their way through over time. There's the losing phase, a phase of utter and complete confusion, and that phase where your brute force and hard work gains you zero progress whatsoever. And you'll try all sorts of strategies. You're gonna copy trade some gurus that you find on YouTube. You're gonna copy pasta some of the KOLs that you might find on X. And you're gonna try to execute on a bunch of different assets, on a bunch of different time frames, with a bunch of different size variations. And you'll come to a point where you're gonna learn just enough to realize how much you don't know at all. And like I said, you're gonna meet some allies along the way, especially if you're intentional about it. You'll have things like Discords, Twitter groups, friends, mentors, maybe even a inner circle trading group. And some of these are gonna help you drastically, while others actually hurt you more than help you at all. And it's gonna seem like you wanna win together where a rising tide lifts all boats. But in the end, you're gonna realize this is a solo adventure. This is a solo thing. Ultimately, everybody cares about their own results in the end. It's your life, it's your time. You have to make the decisions. And then of course, you're gonna meet your enemies. And what's funny is a lot of them are not gonna be found in the external world. It's gonna be over trading, revenge, FOMO, that incessant need to be right, that you're the one who deserves to get the riches. That the markets in general, they owe you something for your efforts. You deserve it. And most people, once they've begun the process of losing and starting to have to face these demons, they quit. And it's not because that they're necessarily incapable, but it's because this whole journey stops looking like that fantasy, that illusion that they had once had. And then of course comes the abyss. And every true hero will reach this point. It's that stretch of absolute despair where you just start to question everything. What was the point of this in the first place? You think about all that time and effort that you've sacrificed. Do you even have an edge in the markets? Are you smart enough? Do you lack some sort of discipline? Who even are you at this point? I mean, after all, you've put in all of these hours, you've paid your tuition, and yet somehow every single day when you sit there, you just don't feel safe. You feel exposed. And of course, you're gonna wonder, is there any hope left for you? And when you're in that moment, when you're trading there, it just all feels like the worst decision you've ever made in your entire life. Why didn't you, after all, just stay in the real world? Everything was safe. They had your 401k plan ready for you, that cozy office culture. You're close enough to success to you kind of see what's possible, but at the same time, you just feel so far away, like you can't actually grasp it. And guess what? That's where they lean in on you. Scarcity mindset comes, the act of self-sabotage starts to seep in. You either start to force it or you walk away. Honestly, it's kind of like a fight or flight sympathetic response. And that one way to get through this phase is exactly that. It is through it. There's no other way. And you will get through it, and it's not because you outsmarted or outworked anything. It really just comes down to you endured it. You didn't run, you kept your seat at the table, and you let time work for you. So for the next phase of the hero's journey and in trading, we're gonna go find another spot. Let's go. You know, it's funny, by the way, I used to hate hiking when I was little. I didn't really get it. I mean, probably through my 20s. And now, after having traded for so long and understanding a little bit more about chaos and balance and touching grass and the whole concept, it is one of the most enjoyable things to me. I do feel like I can walk forever, pretty much. And yeah, I tell you, I just think it's really good if you're gonna be out there living in that digital world, to really go the complete opposite way to as physical of the world as possible. And I remember, you know, everybody knows that book, Atomic Habits, but really setting up your situation to succeed is so good, setting up the environment. Because one of the things when I moved here to San Diego was like, I wanna have trails nearby, because if I don't have trails nearby, I'm never gonna drive and go hike. You know what I mean? That's just a pipe dream. But now I can walk to trails from my house, which just gets me to do it all the time, especially when you do find yourself in the abyss. And by the way, the abyss, which we were just talking about, you go through that multiple times over a career. It's just not one pain point or terrible kind of distraught moment. It is something that you will find yourself in over and over. It's a lot of hero's journeys within one larger hero's journey, right? Just like cycles in markets. And I find myself in one in 2025, 2026. And I've been through the abyss enough times now to have confidence that I will find my way out of it. But it doesn't mean it's not hard. So anyways, let's keep back on this trail. We're a few miles in now. And we're going to discuss the next part of the hero's journey here in a second. We are down in the canyon now, boys. Beautiful. All right, well, here we are. We are about 6 miles in now, and we're gonna finish up talking about this hero's journey when it comes to trading right now. So once you do experience and finally forge your way through the abyss, that is when you experience transformation. And it's not from a single trade or some massive win. It's actually just a complete shift in the way you relate to the game as a whole. You finally learn in a way to kind of let go, to stop trying to dominate or control the market. You stop trying to prove things, not only to other people, but to yourself, that you're something that you're not yet. And you start to respect the whole risk of it all. You start to manage yourself and the things you can control instead of chasing some random outcome or P&L or lifetime graph. And this is, of course, when your archetype starts to become more apparent. And that is your temperaments, your limits, your time horizons, the things that make you tick and the things that interest you. And by the way, quick side note, if you have not watched my trading archetype video, it's one that I posted a while back. I'll link it up here. I think it's good for everybody to watch. And by now you probably have started to realize that true edge isn't something just absolutely extraordinary. It's more quiet, it's repeatable, and in a sense it can be boring in a way. Here you stop fighting the markets, you stop fighting yourself, and you start to trade in the pocket of who you truly are. Only once you do all of this comes the actual rewards of trading. And yes, in this case, it can involve making money, getting that freedom you wanted, having that optionality. But the deeper reward is, of course, more internal. The fact that you can start to be calm under this pressure. You're learning to become patient amongst constant chaos. And your ability to sit with that uncertainty and sit right in it. So now, unlike before, every trade is not going to be life or death. Your identity stops being wrapped around the idea of your bottom line, your P&L. You realize that you can actually now withstand the bad trades, the bad spurts of time. And that knowledge alone will change everything for your trading career. So that sounds nice and all, right? Happily ever after, easy peasy. But here's the unfortunate part for you and for me. None of us ever transform and stay at this peak forever. The markets will change, the regimes will shift, and sometimes your edge can just disappear overnight. So that means you are forced to go through an adaptation process just when you thought you had it all figured out. And this brings us into the final phase, which is returning to wisdom. You come back to the start, you're more humble, you're more selective, and you're more grounded. You might even start to teach, even if that's only leading by example in the groups you surround yourself with. And ultimately, you start to care about your longevity in this space a lot more than keeping up an intensity level. Yes, after all, trading will transform your finances, or it can, but also it's going to change how you look and perceive the world as a whole. Honestly, it's going to teach you some of life's greatest lessons, that effort will not always guarantee some sort of reward, and that timing really matters, that emotions will compound faster than the money, and that control is mostly just some sort of fugazi illusion. You'll also learn how to think in probabilities, in bets, in plus or minus EV. And you'll be able to start to delay gratification, how to take responsibility for the results without hating yourself during it. And then ultimately, and most important, how to rebuild time and time again after failures. So you start thinking in bets, you think about opportunity cost, you think about second order effects, because once you've lived inside these markets, you're never going to unsee how the world truly works. And this is a gift, but it is also a great burden. So I guarantee you are going to be taken to your limits, to the edge of yourself. And you're going to be forced to decide what truly matters to you. Not everyone is built for this journey, and that's definitely okay. But you really need, if you're early on in this, to ask yourself honestly, are you truly ready to face all of the obstacles that are about to hit you? If yes, it might just break you. Or you become the best version of yourself and change your entire future. So with that said, good luck. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if this is something, if this is a journey you are on or going to take. And please share the video if you find it interesting to some of your trading buddies. We do have a Discord. It's free. You can come in, chat all this mindset, psychology, markets, futures, stocks, equities, crypto, all that stuff for free in the link below. I look forward to chatting with you guys there. I will see you next video. By the way, before I go, even hiking has its own journey, right? You cross the threshold, you decide to do it, and you realize somewhere along the way, you feel great, you're doing the thing you want to do, and then boom. Like today, I recorded the video, I'm done. But I told myself I was just gonna keep walking for a long time, and now I find myself in that abyss where I just feel like, what was the point of all this? To post a video? Why am I doing this? And ultimately I've experienced this enough times running and hiking that I know it's always worth it in the end. I do transform, I do become a better person, healthier, better mindset, all that stuff. So I just thought I'd capture it while I'm in the moment. I'm almost 9 miles in, and I'm just like, what are we still doing out here? So anyways, by the way, none of this was financial information. I gotta say that. It's just for entertainment purposes only. Okay, cheers, go touch grass.